Hi everyone, and a very warm welcome to all of you to this episode of All Things Lean with your host Madhulika Rajahan. In our last episode, we talked about appropriation and design, a tale of two concepts. Today, we will talk about context of use. One of the key focal points of user-centered design is the context in which the designs will be used. For technology products and services, contexts of use include a potentially broad array of factors: physical and social environments, human abilities and disabilities, cultural issues, and others. Contexts describe the actual circumstances of use. While not all the aspects mentioned above apply to each case, it is important to consider what is and is not relevant. For example, almost all products and services operate within a legal context that require them to be operable by people with disabilities. Other legal contexts govern the use of personal data. The GDPR, or General Data Protection Regulation in Europe, for instance, is for the ages for which certain content may be shown, along with strict laws in some locations around gambling and betting. Environmental and physical contexts may not be particularly relevant to most websites, but this can change dramatically for systems used outside the typical home or office. Examples include external automated teller machines or cash machines or cash dispensers. Computing systems used in farming, some of which must be steam cleaned, and systems used for stock control in overheated warehouses, or more challenging still, the cold store. User research and observation is essential to determine context of use. The goal of these processes, which include contextual interviews, user visits, etc., is to answer key questions, such as the ones suggested by leading UX consultancy Experience Dynamics. Where do your users engage with your product or service? Physically, environmentally, and device specific. What is happening to the user when they are using it? That is social or environmental or emotional influences. What is physically or socially preventing users from completing their task? That is, another party or party has to act first. When does usage happen and what triggers it? Timing and coordination. What expectations do users bring to the task? Mental model. Why do users want to do this before that? What is the workflow, motivation, and the flow of things? What makes sense to users and why does that differ from how you think about it? Content, labeling, and problem solving. Human-computer interaction in user-centered and user experience design. One of our main concerns is usability. The International Standard on Ergonomics of Human-System Interaction defines usability as the extent to which a system, product, or a service can be used by specified users to achieve specified goals with effectiveness, efficiency, and satisfaction in a specified context of use. Notice that the very definition of usability depends on the context of use. This isn't hard to understand outside of a software system. But because context of use are outside of a normal considerations in most software development methods, contexts are usually overlooked. The standard goes on to describe the components. The context of use comprises a combination of users, goals, tasks, resources, and the technical, physical, and social, cultural, and organizational environments in which a system, product, or service is used. This is a much broader definition of context than is used in practice, but it is definitely complete. Less formal definitions tend to group users, goals, tasks, and resources separately from the environments as described. However, the benefit of grouping all these elements together becomes obvious when considering how the standard describes achieving usability in design and development. The steps are: understand and specify the context of use. Specify the user requirements, including usability considerations. Produce design solutions making use of the above. And fourthly and lastly, evaluate the design solutions. When referring to a complete system, the context of use would include all users along with their respective goals, tasks, and the required resources, as well as the environmental context across all of those factors. These include technical environment, mainly meaning equipment and applications, including hardware, furniture, information, or the data the users have access to, relevant to the task, and supportive devices, services, either human-based systems or system-based, as in assistive technology. Then comes the physical environment, where the system will be used and what the environmental factors would be. Consider the warehouse, a farm, or cold storage from the examples we discussed earlier. Then comes social, cultural, and organizational environments, which would be other people involved, such as the stakeholders and the relationship between them. The organization structure, language, legislation, cultural norms and values, work practices, group working, and privacy. The context of mobile use is very different from that of desktops. The founder of Experience Dynamics, Frank Spiller, shares practical tips on how to understand context of use and how to take them into account when designing for mobile devices. Researchers Savio and Bateman introduced the overlapping spheres of context to a mobile's user's context, which include personal goals such as identity, status, and social interactions. Attention levels, complete or partial, intermittent or continuous. Tasks, for example, making calls, sending a video, or getting directions. Device constraints, including, among other things, softwares, sensors, battery, and network. Secondary activities, such as walking, eating, etc. Environment, sound, light, space, etc. Culture, which would include economics, religion, law. Mobile experiences that factor in the context of use will be more likely to be successful than designs that are made for a generic audience with a one-size-fits-all approach. With this, we come to an end to this episode of All Things Lean. Don't forget to like and subscribe and comment in the comment section on what you'd like to hear more. Until next time, this is your host, Madhulika Rajahan, signing off. Have a wonderful day ahead.